We're doing the first check in the spring. It's mid-March, March the 15th. We're putting in apivar strips and we're giving pollen patties. Now this is some of the joys of beekeeping in the prairies. This one is a bit of an extreme yard, but most of the yard, if you want to scan it, was buried. And they've been buried for maybe a month, maybe a little bit longer, some of them. So I'm not exactly certain what we're going to find here. Typically they'll melt a bit of an area around them. I think it's a little bit more clear on that pellet, how they melt the snow. So what we're looking for when we open them is honey. Now a hive like this is doing quite well for us. And I can look on these outside edges where it's not covered with bees, and I can see that there's liquid honey yet. And I think I'll probably put on my veil here, because I doubt they're that happy about being cooped up for months here. So in this particular hive, we're going to put 3 strips in the top at this time. They recommend 2 strips, or sorry, a strip for every 4 frames of bees. Slightly distracted, confused. The reality is we're not going to go into the bottom, and we're not going to be in these hives for another 2 weeks or longer. So I'm giving them 3 strips. They'll expand in 2 weeks time or 3 weeks, whenever we get around to it again. Maybe that's when we're unwrapping. We'll evaluate again to see if they have enough strips. If they're wall-to-wall bees and they're expanding nicely, we might even give them an extra strip. What I'm doing here, we have feed holes in our pellets, in our lids. I don't know if you can see this one. It's similar, and I can see capped honey here. So I'm not concerned about feed for a while. This time of year they start going through it a little faster. This cluster is a little smaller. I'm only going to give it 2 strips at this time. When we follow up, it might get another one or more. Depends how they expand. I mean, obviously they're not in a particularly great spot. The wind has blown through here, and the snow keeps them cold. So they'll be a little slower than some of our yards. I'm putting these on top. The bees will come up. We're going to put the winter wraps back on for the next 3 weeks. The bees will come up underneath the top insulation and they'll eat this. It also gives them a little bit of sugar in the event that they're a little shy of feed. I'm going to work from the top here, because it's a little too hard to work from the side there when it's a big strip of snow. See, this is a very nice hive, especially considering it's been buried. Definitely giving it 3 strips. And I expect at a later date they'll get another one. Here I'm not able to see any honey. And as the population is higher, they're going to use more. It's something that I'm going to be somewhat well, it's heavy enough. But if you're really uncertain about how much, you might want to take a frame out. I'd rather not take any frames out. We're not really wanting to stress them. Here's another one, wall-to-wall bees. And I suspect that they are good for a couple of weeks before we have to worry about feeding them. I surely hope I'm correct, because I'm not digging out frames. And that'll be it.